It's the Dadnarok After Show. Now, here's Chris and Sean.
Welcome back once again to the Dadnarok After Show. This is Sean. I'm getting so used to us being crisscrossed.
I know. I keep on messing that up, and it's bugging me.
Seems like it's part of the show now.
Yeah, no. I will get that right again at some point, but no promises.
We're talking to Silo once again. This is our third time talking Silo. Tonight we're talking about episodes 5 and 6. We're getting up there in the season. We only got one more recap episode left, right? Because we're going to do 7 and 8 next week.
Are we on? I'm thinking because there's 10 episodes.
Oh, there's 10 episodes. Okay, so 7, 8, and then 9, 10. So we got 2 more recaps.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got going. And yeah, this has been fun. I'm enjoying the rewatch. It's making me remember things that I missed, or I just didn't remember. I'm watching. I'm like, did this happen? And I'm like, oh, that's right, this is happening, or this is coming, or it's. I don't know. I'm really, really enjoying this.
It's a good show for a rewatch. Like, the more you learn, the more you like. Yeah, it seems like it's one of those shows where it's rewatchable for sure.
Yeah, you'll catch like things secondary. Like, oh, I didn't see that the first time. Oh, I got it this time. Or now, like, I'm looking, like, for instance, when it's in the I think the 7th episode or 6th episode, one of those, when they're actually going through the relics and the pen dispenser. I'm pausing and I'm like reading the dossiers next. I want to see what it actually has, because they pause long enough, that meaning like there's something probably there if you're fast enough to catch it. You know, it's there, but that stuff I didn't do the first time around.
I actually started watching it with my wife. She wanted to watch it. She caught one of the episodes I watched last week, and it was enough to draw her in. So we ended up catching up. I actually rewatched episodes with her to get caught up, and then we were both caught up through these episodes here, and then I had to stop it. I was like, well, I gotta stop it.
we gotta pull the brakes.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Real quick, guys. We are Dadnarok. We go ahead and we're doing a rewatch on Silo to be ready for season 2 that comes out here, and I think it's November 15th. There we go. Across the bottom. If you're looking at the screen, it's across the bottom. Look at that. And if you enjoy the show, catch up with us here. And then join us then. We are live. We're interactive. We love your interaction. All comments that are appropriate are brought up. It's more fun when it's not just Sean and I, but when you're a part of it. But check out the rest of the channel. We do a lot of other things as well. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us on this journey.
You know what? Even if you leave an inappropriate comment, we might pull that up too. Why not?
It depends if it's funny. If it's a funny inappropriate comment.
Okay, so I actually have a little bit of a complaint with this first episode.
Because
we got introduced to what's the sheriff's name? Holston. We got introduced to Holston and Allison. They were the main players of the first episode. You get used to them. Allison's gone. Holston's gone next episode. You're like, okay, well, I got introduced to the mayor and Marnes, and then within 2 episodes, the mayor's gone, Marnes is gone. So it's kind of like, it's a little jarring. Like, I get it at first, killing off some like precious characters but when you get to the 4th character being dead in the middle of the room and them looking at a corpse, I'm just like, okay, so how long does this keep going? Are they just going to keep
how many bodies
characters?
Can we have?
Yeah, they're just going to rack them up, and they're going to introduce a character, then that character is going to be dead the next episode. Like, it got with Deputy Marnes, especially after last week, where I was hoping that he would have some sort of a character arc and kind of like come around on Juliet and start actually wanting to work with her, not being so doubtful. It just seems like his storyline was cut a lot shorter than I thought it was kind of going for. Especially him. By the time it got to him, I was like, damn.
No, he's gone too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, because a lot of characters, they did the Game of Thrones essentially, but even at a faster rate than Game of Thrones even did it. It's like boom, 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 boom. I can hear that. But I like the way they go and the way they explain things. Like, we finally figured out, like, in episode 2 here, who killed George. And it was that guy within Judicial who wanted to be Sims's shadow. He was the one that threw him over basically overboard over the railing.
Was that a little bit of a letdown? Was that a little anticlimactic, finding out it was just this guy that we just met?
I mean, being that it was Judicial that did it, or
Yeah.
Sims's like shadow, or the guy was trying to get into him. Um, I wasn't shocked when I first seen it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
it kind of tracks because they're telling us, Judicial controls everything. No matter if you're the mayor or the sheriff, everything still goes through Judicial and the judge.
Yeah.
And
It's I felt a little anticlimactic that it was that character specifically, but also like this whole time they've kind of been portraying Judicial as like the bad guys. I mean, they're the guys that walk around in leather jackets and they seem to like just come into a room and like assume power in the room and with the hushed tones and the whispering, it just feels like of course they're the ones behind killing George. Like there's no surprise there. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking the whole time. So for them to confirm something I was thinking the whole time, it was just a little like, oh, okay.
but on the side note of that, I don't think it's really Judicial. Like, there's still a lot of these characters that I don't even know about yet because they're going to dive into them in the second season. But I
Yeah.
almost feel like Sims himself is doing a lot on the side. Like, there's something completely else going on outside of Judicial because we've seen it in the sixth episode, I think we're on, where he shows us the janitor's closet and he explains to his dad. Well, his dad explained to him eventually what he was doing and how he had. I love the story, but the kid bullying him and his
Yeah.
dad made the kid go away.
Yeah, so that's something even above and beyond Judicial, right? That's some
Yeah.
other clandestine organization, Illuminati thing that's within
Yeah.
the silo.
And that's how I
Okay.
how I read it and everything because even at the end where they're showing because Juliet got that book from George's
Mhm.
other girlfriend. Come to find out, this dude just playing the levels.
Yeah.
But this book that actually has, I think, was it Georgia?
It was a travel guide to Georgia, and it was just like this picture book of like forests
Just
and
forests and
animals
oceans and all this
yeah.
stuff. So she's seeing all this. She has no real idea what she's looking at, besides just the general idea of what things are. But they're watching her in the janitor's closet, and they're like, "Should we wake up Sims?" So it's like, okay, what more does Sims actually have? What more power does he have that not many people know that he has?
That's interesting. Yeah, that was kind of a double whammy that because it was a big revelation for her to see those things, and I think Rebecca Ferguson in that moment really she shot it out of the park when she was like you could see just the wonder and the awe and the fear on her face as she's looking through these pictures. Just like this is when you talk about relics, that's a relic of relic. Like that's a big deal.
This is something else that me outside to clean.
Yeah, exactly. And then just like confirmation, you know what I mean? Confirmation that there is something else and George's thoughts and were valid. And but then to pull out and the way they did that shot was real nice how they pulled out of the actual show that we're watching into the TV screen that they're watching in the janitor's room. And that was a cool shot and a nice reveal too before the end of the sixth episode.
Yeah. So that was fun. I liked seeing I just like Sims. I think Common carries that character perfect. It's like the swagger he has when the way he talks to other people. I buy him in that role 100%. Just like I buy Juliet as the mayor and as a mechanic, not mayor, the sheriff and mechanic. Like I buy her in that world where she's at. And then we finally got to meet the judge. And she seems not long for what she seems sick. Like there's something going on. She wants to get home. She's just over this. It's almost like she's in the position now and she no longer really truly cares about what's going on. She's just there almost ceremonially. That's kind of how I took it in this episode.
It's kind of lame duck position.
Yeah, because she even went towards Sims. It's like she defaulted to Sims when he took the Pez dispenser.
Right.
That Juliet, we haven't even talked, actually planted in this other dude's apartment to try to to get wheels rolling.
It's still early and it's only been a few episodes and she wasn't even really in episode 1 all that much, but I love Juliet's character. I love Rebecca Ferguson's portrayal of her. I just think she's like a really unique character. She's almost like on the spectrum or something as far as like being somewhat antisocial and having more of a mechanic's mind as far as like being able to decipher like systems and
Yeah.
machines, right? As opposed to being, having a big social draw. And she's not very good with people as much as she is with machines. But in this role, you kind of have to do both. So it's like pushing her out of her comfort zones, but also bringing something new to that position that other sheriffs probably didn't have. This like understanding of systems, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I like and the fact that she's kind of thrown into it like a fish out of water, like a brand new, and to be like, you're a big deal. You're immediately you go from being abstract and kind of nobody knows who you are to being the sheriff is a big recognizable person in the silo. So that's kind of just a huge undertaking for her, and it
Yeah.
really gets you invested in her character like real quick.
Oh yeah, I love the ups and downs and the waves she's riding. Definitely when she
Mhm.
finds out about George and this other woman. It's like she even calls her friend down in the deep. She's like, "I'm coming home. I'm done. I'm." Then she's like, "Well, why did you go up there? I mean,
Right.
did you do or did you do this for him? Why don't you go ahead and figure out what the real reason you went up there for?" I love how blatantly honest she is to her. She just
Yeah.
talks to her, and she knows she's there. The silence doesn't mean she's not hung up on her. She knows
Right.
she's listening, but I think she's the only character that can talk to her like that. I don't even think Knox, the guy down in the generator, can talk to her like that.
No, I think, yeah, that's the only person who could talk to her like that and actually reach and, like, break through, you know what I mean? Like, make her think.
Yeah,
It's something about the, relationship that they've had, since she was a kid. Yeah, that was good too. Like, we got a lot of good character growth, moments in that 5th episode with her, just kind of like not wishy-washy, but just, like, uncertain if she's actually gonna, like, keep trying this role, and it kinda
yeah,
comes to a breaking point. This whole thing has been about finding out who killed George because they do a good job showing in these flashbacks how connected she was.
yeah,
More than anybody else that we've seen in the silo, she was, like, really human and humane with him, like, they really in those moments, you felt like love. So to learn that it's possible that he was just playing her, it's a betrayal for her, and it's also a kind of betrayal for us as a viewer, like, "Oh, man, really?"
yeah.
Because it's like, I don't buy it necessarily, I think
I don't
maybe there
think I
was
buy
more
it
there.
either. I think it's one of those red herrings. I think they want us to believe that he was playing her, but
Yeah, like,
she
something
has no
still tells me
connection to
he
any relics or anything. The woman that was
Right.
on the other level was a relic dealer.
Yeah.
George kept all the relics away from Juliet because he didn't want to get her tied up into it and then possibly sent out for having something that she shouldn't have. So I think there was a different relationship that he had with Juliet than he had with the other lady that we find out later.
And it'd be interesting to watch what they do with that, if there's gonna be some kind of a resolution, because it's like, how do you resolve that when the guy's dead? You know what I mean? He can't really have a new conversation with her to be like, "No, no, no, I really do have these feelings." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's gone.
Yeah, and
So that's an
she's
interesting
now
way to
torn
move
about it.
forward.
She's like, "I'm up here for an idiot." I mean, I
Yeah.
got played for an idiot. But yeah, I think there's more to that just because of the things because we got in that when we first meet him. The reason that they were never sanctioned is because he was afraid of getting her wrapped up into something that she shouldn't be wrapped up in. Which right there, I
Right.
think that's enough to tell me that he had real feelings for her, and he was more so using the other lady for his
For her
hobby of
connections.
relics and connections and
Yeah.
all that. That's kind of
Yeah, that makes sense.
how I actually bought that. Yeah, yeah, because when they're together and they're down there in the bottom of it and they're laying together and talking and goofing around and that whole thing, it
Yeah, it felt
feels
real.
genuine. Yeah,
Right.
everything feels like it's correct rather than
Yeah.
him playing her.
And yeah, so that was really interesting. I'm trying to think. Oh, she does have a potential new suitor. I don't know, this guy that's hanging out in the cafeteria. He's landed on real thick.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
trying.
yeah,
He's there.
I
He's
feel like
drawing
he's doing a good job.
he's drawing the constellations and he has no idea what he's drawing at all. But he's got like W's. I'm not sure where he's getting W's from, but
I was gonna ask you about that. He's seeing some sort of pattern that looks like letters in the sky. Like he sees a W that's like move, and I don't know if that's just his way of recognizing something as a pattern in the stars, because basically that's what he's telling us is that he's
They're
seeing the
changing,
constellations
yeah.
move around. And they don't even know how the world works. They don't know
Yeah.
that they're on Earth and the Earth spins. And
Well, they're like, what are these lights? They
right,
have not the slightest idea. And I'll be honest, I don't even know. Like, I don't. If they did say something, I don't remember if they explained or they found out what they are, or if he figures out what they are, or anything down those
they're
lines.
fireflies caught in that big bluish black thing.
I thought they were big balls of gas building millions of miles away. Pumbaa, everything you use balls of gas. Wow, that's funny.
If y'all
The way
get
we
that,
connect
then
those two, that's funny.
yeah. But that
This-
was fun. That'll be fun. Well, you know what? With the way this show is, that guy will probably be dead next episode, so I'm not going to get too attached.
Don't get too attached. What do you think of the burying them in the apple orchards and then eating apples? I mean,
I think the ceremony seemed appropriate. Is it like human beings just like make these ceremonial things all the time? So it's like I understood why they were doing it. Plus, you know, you only have a
you know what it
limited
is?
amount of space in the
It's
silo.
a circle of life.
That's true. It is. You're right. No, I liked it. Me and my wife immediately were like, well, they don't have room for all these like cemetery plots. Every plot of land has to be functional. You know what I mean?
And how like I guess being where we are now, I can say I couldn't eat that apple. But being in the silo, a fresh apple is a fresh apple.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you know, these dead bodies are fertilizing the ground that are causing these trees to grow. Because I guess if they throw 30, 40, 50 apples in there that are bitten, the likelihood of one taking or two taking will
Right.
sprout a new tree. And I can
Yeah.
understand it, and it makes sense where you need to go ahead and produce food, but I couldn't eat Uncle George.
You know, they do that now where they turn you into a tree or whatever, or you could get planted.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
Zach
do
would
that?
chop me down.
He would grow you up just to chop you down,
Just to chop me down, watch me fall,
burn you all over again, throw you in the
throw
fireplace.
me in the fire pit. Oh, that little that's funny. Oh my god.
Anyway,
So do you
what were
think her
what were we
friend,
talking about?
the one that's down in the shop hasn't left the shop from, I don't know how long it's
She's
been.
leaving the shop.
You think she's gonna walk out and she's gonna leave the shop at some point?
Yeah, because you don't introduce something like that without having some kind of payoff. There's gonna be some sort of desperate hour. There's gonna be something where she loses communication with her. She's upset. She's worried about, like, you know, is she trapped? Is she hurt? It's gonna be enough to drive her out of that room. She's gonna be like, you know, being caught or being out there be damned. Like, I care about this person. They may be in danger. That's what I feel like is gonna
It's
happen.
gonna have to be something pretty jarring. I mean,
Yeah.
and the fact that she's been in there for as long as she's been in there, it's gonna. I think would have to take a lot to get her out.
Yeah.
What else really went down? Oh, but I guess the secretary of the old sheriff, that one that doesn't like
Oh,
Juliet.
yeah. Right.
She basically told her, find who, you know, killed Martins, or they were gonna pin it on somebody. And it's like, you know, he didn't do it, because all they wanted was a resolution. I feel like
Right,
in the
right.
silo here, they don't care if they get the right person ever. They just want a resolution so the silo as a whole doesn't panic.
It's about maintaining order.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the number one priority. I almost got Empire vibes off it. You know what I mean? Like, just order at any cost. You know what I mean? Just even if you have to pull the wool over the general public's eyes just to get by.
Well, then they had like not Freedom Day, but the holiday.
The running event?
Yeah, because they called it was some type of holiday they called it. I don't remember the holiday
Oh,
name.
Forgiveness Day.
Forgiveness Day. That's what. Yeah, because of the suicide, they wanted to call it Forgiveness Day or whatever. So they did that with the race going up, and I couldn't imagine racing up that. Can you imagine 134 flights? Oh my god!
No, but I'm sure there were probably some porters in there who were used to doing that anyway.
Yeah, right. The cheaters.
You know, yeah, those the Amazon delivery guys that have to run up and down the steps.
Oh Lord,
all day.
That's a job. Keep you fit. You won't get fat in that job. But yeah, she was like, Martins wouldn't want somebody to go out to clean that didn't do it.
Right.
So she did everything in her power and twisted the rules by like crowbar and kicking that door open and getting in, knowing that she put that Pez dispenser in the actual medicine cabinet and set it
Yeah.
up so the other guy could go ahead and find it.
Yeah,
So
I like that. I think that's another thing that's endearing for her character, that she's in a world where everything is so by the book, and she's surrounded by people that do things by the book so much, and she just does not care about the book because she's just from outside of this
yeah.
world. You know what
Have
I
you
mean?
read the pack? Come on.
Right. Over and over and over again. Yeah, I read some of it. Yeah, but like, and she's trying to read it just so she knows what these people are talking about. But at the end of the day, she's just like, I'm going to use a crowbar. I need to get in here, so I'm going to use a crowbar to get in here. Like,
Exactly. She just busted it open and went in. It's like unlawful,
yeah.
search and seizure. What are you talking to? What are you doing? But then that new
But
guy's got
that's that problem solving mind. You know what I mean? Like, that's task oriented. That's an IT person. That's a mechanic. It's like, I have a problem in front of me. I have a tool that can help me solve that problem. I'm just going to solve the problem with the tool
yeah,
that's in my
because they
hand.
couldn't get in because he was actually judicial. It was a different
Hmm.
key. So they had the
Yeah.
right to get in there. She just used a crowbar to make it possible.
Yeah.
So
So
it was just a
it's not
different key.
another thing that I like, how direct she is, and she just like, and she just doesn't care. She's like,
No.
what are they going to do? Fire me?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
cares?
And she wouldn't even care. Send me back down to
Right.
where I'm best at, where I'm best to use.
Yeah.
I'm only up here, temporarily right now anyway, because we all know I'm not going to stick around. Um,
And honestly, it's interesting to watch that because she's still so new to everything as a character. It'll be interesting to see her grow and maybe develop relationships with these current people that she's with day in, day out. And then, but I mean, that ultimately would change her. You know what I mean? She would have to not be so careless about things like that if she
yeah.
wants to maintain, or like eventually she may want to keep that position that she's in, you know? So that'll be interesting to going forward, watching how that develops too.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the guy that they want to be sheriff. It's kind of like her deputy, because she was even
Mm.
irritated that they named him deputy. I mean, he said she was like the old one's not even cold yet,
Yeah, exactly.
and they named him. But she caught on real quick that he's sick, and he's actually
Yeah.
breaking the rules that he holds so dear, knowing that he's sick and not saying anything. But then he's got his family, which that automatically makes, like, I like him. I like his character. I like how he's like, you have to trust me. I have to trust you. We have to do this as a team. He seems
Right.
genuine. And
Yeah.
the juxtaposition between the two characters, where he's like, okay, let's do it, but we have to do it this way. And like you're saying, Julia, it's like, you know what? I don't care how we do it, but I'm doing it.
Right.
And then just the knocking of heads that they have when he's calling her out on things, or he's like, then she flips the script on him about the sickness that he has, and he knows what he's doing. Then he goes home and sits down, and you see it, his daughter, and he's concerned about his daughter having the same illness, and his
Right.
wife has like ginger root or something like that to give him to try to stop him from shaking. So
Yeah.
I'm curious what that sickness is. I really don't know what that sickness is. Is it
Yeah, the
something?
syndrome they call it. So
Yeah.
it's a named thing. It's something that is known within the silo. And I guess I don't know if they like quarantine you if they see that you have it, because he's definitely keeping it hidden. And I don't know if he's keeping it hidden because it's going to stifle his career, or if he's going to lose. You know, like, I don't know what the repercussions are for having this thing, or
Yeah.
how contagious it is. You know what I mean? Like, what does that look like?
Is it genetic? Is that why he's so scared? Because he doesn't want, them to come, get his daughter and test his daughter and see if
Right.
she has it as well. And there may be a long list of things that he's scared of. So yeah, he won't be in a position of power. He won't be
Yeah.
able to work. He won't be able to work in the sheriff's office, judicial, any of those. Who knows where he may wind up in recycling for all we know, or down in mechanical.
Right.
If he got found out for what's going on. So there is that power struggle back and forth. I really like. The back to the what's it called? The secretary was like, "Thank you for figuring this out, but I've already put my papers in the transfer." And she said she actually did it before things happened. So she said it wasn't you that drove me
Yeah.
out. I was already wanting out because I'm tired of people watching. And Juliet was like, "Hold on, watching."
Yeah.
So she hasn't been there long enough to actually know that when you're up there, everybody's watching your every move.
Right. Yeah, you might as well be a secretary for a lower level law enforcement person, like that dude with the long hair.
I love
That.
that dude. The dude that's down there, the other sheriff, deputy. He comes off as
Oh,
so cool.
when he had that whole scene with her and they were talking about the hush puppies, I'm like, well, that dude's dead in 2 episodes because I was just like so spurned by Marnes being dead. I was like, any new character that you start to grow fond of is like, well, he's not long for this world.
He walks down there. He's like, "What do you think? I'm gonna come all the way down this way and not eat any?" And I wish I remembered some of these characters' names. The one lady that won't leave the actual like her house.
Yeah, I
She
can't
knew what
remember
he was gonna
either.
do. He knew
Yeah.
she knew he was gonna eat all of them. She wanted him to get to her to pass the message on. That was her paying him essentially.
I actually like the return of another kind of minor character, is the one that punched Marnes in the nose an episode or two ago. The actual relic dealer that she talks to, the one that she kind of hid, that like she could see
Yeah,
a
because
couple moves ahead.
they were gonna set him up
They were gonna
for
pit it
taking the
on him,
fall.
and she found that evidence first before anybody else could, and she knew exactly where it came from and what it was because they stuck it in the wrong apartment, essentially.
Yes.
Um, and, yeah, so she goes out and she finds him, and she's like, "I'm hiding you before they get to you." And that I think that's cool, and that actor, I saw
I
him, and I was
recognize
like,
him.
I know this guy, where do I know this guy from? And I had to look it up. Um, you may know him from 2 different things. He was a bully on a few episodes of Adventures of Pete and Pete from way back in the day. But we're
No.
I forget the name of the guy, but he drove a car, and anyway, also, he's in the Ninja Turtles movie, the first one. Do you remember the main kid in the Foot Clan when he was giving the 2 kids the kid was like, "You got any cigarettes?" And he was like, "Regular or menthol?" He was that kid. He was that, like, young guy. He was part of the Foot Clan in the
No
first Ninja Turtles
way.
movie. Yeah, that was him. You'll have to look it up.
Oh, that is
Anyway,
funny. Yeah, okay. Yes.
I knew that guy. I was
We
like,
have a
"I know
Turtles
him from
reference, a Pete
something."
and Pete reference, a Lion King reference. We're going down a rabbit
But
hole
yeah,
quite a few times. So yeah, because I loved
I
how
wanna
he was just kind of like sitting on his like sling type thing painting, and he's like, "Oh hell, you're back!" Like he knew something was up
mhm,
immediately when he's seen her again. But then like
right.
she was trying to get like information out of him on who these relic deals were, and
Yeah,
she has the ability to play hardball. I think more so than any of the other characters that we've seen to this point,
right.
without actually with it being completely believable. Not like, oh, okay, if
Yeah.
you don't tell me, I'm going to throw you over you know, the stairs here and let you fall to your death. Like
Yeah,
we've
like
seen
Sims.
Sims did to that one guy because I guess apparently he screwed up a couple things between with George's death and then setting up this other guy. He just continued to fail. So I guess 2 strikes, you're out, not three.
I like Sim well, here's the thing about that scene is that when he immediately Sims was like, "Don't worry, I think I have a plan that'll everything will work out." I was like, okay, I wonder what that plan could be." He's being real nice to this guy because we know his opinion of him apparently is that he's not too fond of him from his conversation with the new deputy, right? So then he's talking and stuff, and he makes him take the oath. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, maybe he is." At for a split second, I was like, "Oh, maybe he does want this guy. Maybe he thinks he's loyal or
Yeah.
something." But then as he's halfway through the oath, I'm like, "Oh, no, he's just gonna push him over."
He's gonna send him over the edge. What
But he
I
was toying with him.
Yeah. When I first
Like,
seen that,
you don't do that unless you don't do that unless because I think he wanted to see the elation from the guy and the relief from the guy and then just, end it. Like, I think he was toying with him like a cat does with prey.
Billings is the deputy
Billings
sheriff's
is
name.
the new deputy. Yeah.
I had to figure it out because it was really bugging me.
Yeah.
What do you think so far of Mayor Holland, Bernard Holland, Tim Robbins' character, the temporary mayor who was drinking
It's
all
a
the old mayor
little
stuff?
it's a little different than I thought that plotline would play out because initially I thought he might have been doing a power grab. I thought maybe he could have been the one behind switching the rat poison and because he benefited, we think benefited from
Immediately, essentially.
yeah, but it turns out like is he protesting too much? Is he just putting on false airs as far as just like, yeah, I don't really like being the mayor. I'm going to drink all her alcohol, and hopefully I won't be mayor for very long. Is that like a front? Is he just putting that out there? Because I'm so confused by that. I didn't get any of that from him initially, and now that he's in the
Well, yeah, the
position, he
first time
seems
we
almost like
seen
a
him, he
different
was like
character.
super hard on uh the old mayor and his wife. Remember when she
Yeah,
was like doing
on
I don't remember
Allison, yeah.
exactly what it was, but then he was like so dead set at Juliet taking the position because of her stealing the basically the heat tape.
Right. He seemed very much like a hard ass, like kind of a by the books, like how dare you hard ass. And then now that he's in power, he's very loosey goosey, which I'm just kind of like, that's a weird change.
It's like, yeah, what is truly happening here? Because he's almost
Yeah.
it feels like at this point he's on Juliet's side.
Right.
Like he's trying to do everything in his power now to have her succeed when originally he wanted nothing to do with her actually being in
Just
the
like an
position.
episode or two ago. Yeah. Total 180 as far as his motivations. So I'm
So
like, I'm
what's
weirded
truly
out
going
by
on?
it.
Something
Yeah.
I feel like something is brewing. Like
Do you know?
he's working too many angles. Yes, I know. Uh
I like how you're talking like you don't know these things.
I know a little
What could it be? What could it be?
I know enough, but I don't exactly remember, if that makes sense. Like I know enough, but I don't remember exactly how things progress with his character.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, I'm rewatching it. It's been over a year since I've seen it. I mean, this old man brain doesn't remember what he did last week. So I didn't take my ginkgo.
Or your ginger root.
Yeah, my ginger root. My memory is
Um,
fading.
I think we kind of covered how we left things basically. Episode 6 left things with how do we leave things? Oh, with the TV pan out.
Yeah.
So whatever this entity is that's even seems to be above and beyond judicial, that's into the janitor's closet that Sims is somehow a part of. They know that she has like this ultimate relic, which I think they had her eyes on her. Like they knew all about her watch and stuff. So it's like I
Well,
don't
they knew about
know.
her watch because it was a registered watch and relic that George had. So
Yeah,
he recognized that watch immediately. The fact that they knew the Pez dispenser was actually George had it when they're going through it and they're actually
right.
looking at it and they find out that it was George's, and he knows that the only person that would have had it because there was a relationship between them would be Juliet, and Juliet is the one that had to have put it where it was found to go ahead and circumvent the rules that she was
Right.
trying to do. So now Sims has to see Juliet as a threat because she is as intellectually smart as he is. So
Yeah.
she is now a threat to him because he doesn't know what her next step's going to be, just like she doesn't know what his next step's going to be.
Maybe that's the real because at the end of the episode, I'm like wondering, well, what's changed? Has anything heightened or anything? But maybe that's the real thing is that so far, I think a lot of these characters that have power have just kind of been letting Juliet kind of testing her out. Like, who is this person? Is she somebody that's workable that we can just use? Is she someone that we can dump? Is she somebody that's going to resign within a day or two? And now I think Sims especially, and maybe even Tim Robbins' character is like, "Oh, no, she's like a player on the board."
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
she's
I'm
gonna be
going to say
difficult
something
to just.
here, and it's not a spoiler, but I want you to remember this because we've already kind of referenced it in this recap here. Remember the tape that she took to go down with the actual
The hard
generator.
drive?
No, 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 not the hard drive. The box of tape she stole,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
she reallocated.
Right.
Remember that tape. That's I want that in your head because when it first happened, when things played out later, it took a second for me to connect dots.
Yeah.
So just remember the tape.
Okay. Remember it.
Remember the tape.
Remember who you
Simba,
are.
remember.
Well, that brings it full circle of life here on the Silo rewatch. Of course, we're going to do episodes 7 and 8 next time around, next week. Once again, we're here on a Monday. It's either going to be Friday or Monday next week.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Hold on. Friday's the 1st. We got Halloween and stuff that's coming up, and we'll figure it out. We'll be
Yeah.
here.
So I've got another
Just
soccer
keep
tournament coming up this weekend.
yeah.
Or the
Just
kickoff
keep
game.
tuning in. We'll be here eventually. Let us know how do you guys like the show so far? So far, not a lot of folks joining us live, but I know some folks are watching the replays of this. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about Silo so far? Are you interested? How interested are you in joining us for season 2 to do a live watch with that? Let us know. We always respond to comments. If you guys leave comments in the YouTube section under the video, or if you're on Twitch or Twitter or whatever, Chris is real good about getting on there and responding to everybody. So let us know what you think.
Okay, guys. So I guess until next week, I want to go out.
I want out. I want to go out.